Hey everybody, it's your teacher Alex Dijon. I'm making this video to talk about what this unit is about. So, this unit is about public speaking fundamentals, the fundamentals of public speaking. The goal is to give all of you the most basic information that is related to preparing and delivering a good speech in front of a live audience. So the main objective for this unit is to just absolutely understand the basics. Like if 90% of the class was thrown out, what's the absolute 10% you need to know? So with that in mind, let me go over some of the concepts you'll be learning about. In terms of the concepts, you're going to really be learning three essentials. The three essentials are preparation aids, presentation aids, and extemporaneous delivery. Actually, I should say a preparation outline. How do you outline a speech? How do you make visual or audible aids for it? And then how do you deliver the speech? So with that being said, let me talk about preparation outlines. Preparation outlines are pretty much a script of what you plan to say in your presentation. You don't have to read it word for word, but because a preparation outline is a script, it's pretty much you writing out your speech in its entirety. Now, a preparation outline is not the same as an essay. You're writing in full sentences, but a preparation outline, number one, is structured in the format of an outline that has things numerated like in Roman numerals. Also, with every section and subsection has to be properly labeled with what everything is in the outline. You write things in complete sentences, so that way the substance and the content that you write is substantive, and it looks like, oh, this would be long enough for a speech that would be this number of minutes long. And at the very end of a preparation outline, you have some type of bibliography page, like an APA references page or an MLA works cited page. Again, preparation outlines are when you write out the entirety of your speech before you actually deliver it. Because if you write out the entirety of your speech, even if you don't read it, you'll know and have a pretty clear idea of how to structure your speech, how to incorporate citations, what you plan to say, so that way you have a substantive and well-prepared speech. So that's preparation outlines. Now let me talk about presentation aids. Presentation aids are anything that supplements the speech and makes the speech more engaging for your audience. Most commonly, presentation aids are generally like slide decks, or they might be like objects that you physically show the audience, or there might be handouts that you hand to the audience and then you go over your material while the audience follows what you're saying through the handout or taking notes on it. For my class, I am pretty lax about presentation aids. You could have pictures on a wall or something like that, as far as I'm concerned. But a presentation aid is pretty much anything that you supplement your speech with, either visually or audibly, that makes your speech more engaging for your audience. Again, either visually in some way or audibly by maybe like a video you play or some music you play or something like that. So that's presentation aids. I know that wasn't a really good explanation. But again, presentation aids are just, hey, what do you want to show or play for your audience that keeps them interested? Now, last thing I'm going to talk about is delivery. So, delivery is probably the most important thing. In fact, you don't even really need a preparation outline to give a presentation. And you don't really need presentation aids to give a presentation or a speech. I have neither of those right now. Delivery is the most important thing. A speech is a performance in some particular way when you want to give your audience information that is emphatically given to them. Now, delivery comes in two areas: verbal delivery and nonverbal delivery. Verbal delivery are things you say and how you say it. So the volume you have, or your clarity of the words you say, how you enunciate and pronounce words. All of that has to do with clarity. There's also strategic pauses. Normally, you would, take a second in between sentences to take a breath, or maybe you're taking a second or a few seconds because you said something for some kind of rhetorical effect. The last couple things are rhythm and intonation. Rhythm and how you vary your rhythm is what makes something sound sort of conversive, like it sounds natural. So when you talk conversively or naturally, your rhythm tends to change a lot as you talk. Same thing with a presentation. Now, intonation, that is the soul of what you are saying. Intonation is how you say things that indicate feeling in what you talk about. So again, as your intonation varies, that helps what you say sound more interesting and keeps your audience more audibly engaged. So the 5 aspects of verbal delivery are volume, clarity, strategic pauses, rhythm or pacing, and intonation. Now, for nonverbal delivery, it is how do you visually present information to your audience through your body language. The 5 areas are posture, eye contact, facial expressions, gesturing or gesticulation, and then the use of your space or your speaker's triangle. So, first thing is posture. You can sit down as you present, or you can stand up, but you have to sit or stand upright, facing the audience, talking to the audience. The way your body language as you stand or sit matters because it conveys your confidence and your clarity and your comfort with the audience. The other item is eye contact. You have to look at the audience. You have to talk to the audience. Now, having said that, you don't have to actually look at them eye contact directly. I'm personally looking at a camera, and if you're in a room with people, you can look towards their foreheads, or you can look at the wall behind them. As long as you're looking forward, you can generally simulate eye contact. You don't have to make perfect eye contact. You can look around the person and generally simulate eye contact in some particular way. But for eye contact, you do have to look forward towards your audience. The other item is facial expressions, right? You have to look like you care what you are talking about, and your facial expressions have to convey that. So you have to move your face in a way that is emotionally engaged as you talk. So you don't want to try to be as stoic as possible. You want to let your emotions be seen in your face because you want to have feelings and you want your audience to see how you feel through your facial expressions. Now, the 4th item is gesticulation or gestures. They're kind of the same thing, but they're not. Gesticulation is how your body moves as you say things. So as I'm talking right now, my hands are just sort of waving forward because I'm trying to say that in a way that's emphasizing the point, but my hands are just moving forward because this is just normally how I talk. This is how my body moves as I talk normally. A gesture is when you do a specific action that is meant to visually convey information. So in this particular case, if I say, all of you are going to do fantastic in my class, I have 2 thumbs up because the 2 thumbs up are indicating that things are going to be good, even though I didn't actually say good, except for me right now explaining that thumbs up means good, at least in American culture. Okay, now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is your use of space. Now, in a public speaking class, you might use something called the speaker's triangle. So, if some of you actually were paying attention to me, you may have noticed that earlier, as I was talking, I kept moving from one side of the room to another. The speaker's triangle is when you physically use different parts of your space to visually communicate different sections of your presentation. Now, some of you might not do this, and that's okay. I teach this professionally, so it's just something I use. But even if you don't use the speaker's triangle, you should use your space. You don't need and should not stand perfectly still for an entire presentation. If you need to, you could sort of move around. If it helps you to sort of go from one side of the room or from one side of your camera to the other, and as you talk, that's okay. The most important thing is that you are emoting things. So, that is pretty much it. Like, that was the end of what I talked about. So those are the ideas. Now, in terms of the assignments, here's what you're going to do. You're going to learn those ideas in more detail later on, but generally, in terms of the assignments, the things I just gave you a lecture about, those are the things you are going to get quizzes on. You are going to be tested on your understanding of preparation outlines and presentation aids and extemporaneous delivery, or just delivery in general. You're going to have to watch and evaluate other people's presentations, probably mine. You're going to have to read and evaluate other people's preparation outlines, probably mine in some particular way. Now, in terms of the workload, because this is a summer class, expect to spend, and don't freak out, about 10 hours per week on the assignments. Having said that, I have never had a student actually spend 10 hours on my summer assignments ever. I mean, some of them do, because like they open assignments and then they just leave them open for like 2 days straight. And that's like 48 hours right there. But in general, expect to dedicate about 10 hours of your time. It might be less, it might be more. It's generally a lot less from what I've seen other students do. Now, in terms of your speech expectations, now, for your speech, I want you to do pretty much what I am doing. I want you to be delivering a speech on camera in the style of giving a speech properly framed. The only big thing is that you need audience members. I currently don't have any audience members because I'm in my garage, I'm in my house. There's really nobody here right now. But I expect all of you to have audience members, because for a public speaking class, you need to present in front of a live audience. You need at least 3 audience members for your presentations to count. If you have any issues with that, let me know, and I'll try my best to sort of find a way to accommodate or to provide support in that area. So, that is pretty much it. This is a really long video. I went over what the goal of the unit was. The goal is to learn the fundamentals of public speaking. I also lectured briefly on the concepts. Specifically, I lectured on preparation outlines, presentation aids, and extemporaneous delivery. I also talked about the assignments, in which you'll be taking quizzes on those. You'll be reviewing an example outline and example speech, and you will be recording and submitting your own speech, as well as responding to your classmates' presentations. If you need any help with anything, message me on Canvas inbox or whatever learning management system I am using. That's about it. Thank you for getting through such a long video, and I look forward to your work. See you, everybody.